Hey again, it's Clinton and I'm back with more Destiny. I'm going the low tech route again and showing you a slideshow. This time I've got a leaked image courtesy of DestinyDB.com. This image came out, I believe, sometime last week, although it could have been out floating around on the internet a bit earlier. And what this image does is basically highlight the content spread for the next DLC for Destiny, which is called House of Wolves. And I just want to quickly run through this image and just sort of chat about what to expect, for that next DLC pack, and what, just kind of get your opinion on whether it's enough, whether it sounds good, whether this information sounds accurate. So let's jump into it. First up, we have the story missions. There's going to be 3 story missions for House of Wolves. This is pretty similar to what was included with The Dark Below. These story missions are most likely going to be linked through these sort of like breadcrumb badges or missives that you get from the quest giver. The quest giver this time around is probably going to be the Queen's Ambassador, who showed up a long time ago, I believe in the second week after Destiny's launch for the Queen's Wrath special event. So this ambassador is going to probably show up in the exact same place in the tower, and she's going to be the go-to person for feeding you the next story mission, as well as giving you access to the various new bounties that are probably going to be included, although they only show 3 later on in this leaked image. So just real quick, the story missions are called Gone to Ground, Wolf Harvest, and the Terminus. In the image here, you see some sort of design values or parameters that are set, and it all looks pretty self-explanatory. The enemy levels, as you can see, are set at 32, so that means the baseline player level is probably going to be tuned for level 32, right? Which means the level cap is probably going to be something like level 34. As with The Dark Below, they're probably going to include some mechanism for us to quickly level up our characters if they are not already at the level 32 cap that we have now, which means being able to buy brand new gear with higher light levels from all the tower vendors. So nothing too spectacular or too groundbreaking here. It's pretty much what I expected out of House of Wolves. So let's move on. We've got information on the strikes. So there's going to be a new strike playlist according to this image. It's called Vanguard Dragon. The strikes in this playlist are going to be set at level 28. The brand new strike is called Trader's Catch. And we see here it's also going to be set at level 28. There's some other information here that doesn't quite make sense to me. Like they have this thing called Power Factor set at 97.777779. Interesting. I can't really speak too much about that. There's information about where this strike is going to be held. It's going to be on the moon. So yeah, that's all the information we really have to go on. There's a description here in case you can't see it. I'll just quickly read it for you. A fallen wolf ship holding an infamous walker has touched down in the Ocean of Storms. Breach the catch and see to this walker's end. So the end boss for the strike is going to be something that looks like a devil walker. It's probably going to be larger and more impressive, of course. So that's cool. I kind of hope it's not a walker, but since, hey, it's an existing asset that they have, I don't really imagine they'll go crazy creating a brand new character model for House of Wolves. They'll just keep using what they have with some added tweaks. So hopefully the design of the strike itself is going to be better than the one we got in Dark Below. I really didn't like Omnigul. The Omnigul fight specifically in the strike was a real drag. Wasn't really designed well. It's just sort of blah. It's like they just placed things randomly and they just scripted the standard, like here's a one wave of ads, here's a second wave of ads, and all you had to do was kind of hang out outside the room and shoot an Omnigul when there's an opening. I digress, sorry for going on that tangent, but hopefully the new strike is going to be more interesting than that. So I'm going to move along now and talk about the Arena. That's the name of the brand new raid. Obviously this is going to be the showpiece of the House of Wolves DLC, and should be an interesting one. It's set at level 32, so yeah, baseline. In order to play and have a good time and not get destroyed, you're gonna have to be your character's gonna have to be at level 32 to play on normal mode. And then they have information on the hard mode, which is set at level 34 with, in red letters there, level 35, which not too dissimilar from the Dark Below's Coda's End. In the hard mode you would have to be at the game's level cap, so level cap more or less confirmed at this point. It's going to be level 34 in the House of Wolves, and if you're going to be playing the raid on hard mode, enemies are going to be at level 35, possibly all the way through. Cool stuff. I don't really have too much speculation on this new raid, except that since it deals with the Fallen who are breaking off, these are fallen rebels, breaking off from the Queen, who's the the Queen and the brother and all the whole posse there hanging out on the reef. They've broken off. They no longer want to serve the Queen, and now the Queen's calling in favor to get you to catch them or kill them. Who knows? But I get the sense that it's going to be less of this kind of mysterious, scary dungeon dive that we saw in Vault of Glass and Coda's End. And it's going to be more sort of like you're storming a base. You know, you're going to fight through like these enemy fortifications, and you're going to be storming a base, or you're going to be invading a warship and kind of fighting in an area that's sort of kind of like well known. It's not a scary dungeon, so it'll be interesting to see the tonal shift with this new raid, since you're dealing with a very different enemy type than the Vex or the Hive. Cool, so that's raid. Moving right along, we have the final section of this leaked image, which just outlines the bounties that are going to be in House of Wolves. I don't know if these are probably not the only bounties, but these ones specifically will deal with the story missions that are going to be in the DLC. And they're all named after a named character that I assume you're just going to have to kill in the course of each of those story missions. So just to go over them real quick, the first bounty we have is Paskin King Baron. Defeat Paskin King Baron in the Gone to Ground mission in Cosmodrome. And next up we have Lixor Wolfblade. Defeat Lixor Wolfblade in the Wolf Harvest mission on Venus. Finally, there is Skolas Wolfkel. Defeat Skolas Wolfkel in the Terminus mission on Venus. There have got to be more bounties, not just these. You may remember with the Dark Below, Eris carries with her a rotating set of daily bounties that are a bit more generic, that would take you to various parts of the solar system, and they're not directly tied to the Dark Below story missions. So I expect there will be the same with this, and I also expect there to be some new Crucible maps, just like there were with the Dark Below. The Dark Below got 3 brand new maps for Crucible play, and there's no information on that here, but this spoiler is really just called activity, which is a little bit vague. The Crucible is an activity, so I would have expected some Crucible information, but being this is just, this is not an official press release or blog update from Bungie, there's obviously going to be some gaps and some inaccuracies. Pardon me. So it would be crazy if there wasn't any new Crucible maps in the House of Wolves. There is a lot of pressure riding on Bungie to make the House of Wolves really good, to make it better in every sense. than the Dark Below. Some people felt that the Dark Below was kind of average, even disappointing. And I definitely feel that there's always room for Bungie to improve on their stuff. I'm really interested to see how they update the systems for leveling exotics. You know, they're going to be increasing the attack and defense values on their exotic gear. This is almost a certainty, and I'm really curious to see how they handle that this time. They've already admitted, I believe there's one of the lead designers, Luke Smith, already admitted on NeoGAF that they made some big mistakes with how exotics were upgraded and how the raid gear was designed too. You had to basically just keep grinding Quota's End and grind for the raid specific shards in order to upgrade that raid gear. And I feel it seems like they by looking at the player feedback, looking at their metrics, they feel that this was a bad move on their part. For me personally, I've had the most experience just with re-leveling exotics, and yeah, I gotta feel that they've got something better in the works. I really hope they do, because hindsight is 2020, I'll admit, but I don't know how they kind of thought that re-leveling exotics would bring any joy to players. It's just kind of mind-boggling. And we all ended up doing it to some extent, but yeah, there is really no joy in doing that. It was just really just going through the motions and just kind of being forced into it, right? You just had to play by the rules, and there was no joy. And it's really important that when you're playing a game, you actually have everything kind of driven by the motivations of like, yeah, I want a reward for this, or I want this to be fun while I'm doing something. So yeah, that's my little ramble that I included here. Sorry about that. And that pretty much just comes to the end of the video. That's all the stuff I want to cover from this leaked information. I'm looking forward to the House of Wolves, and really interested to see how they hit this one out of the park, or if they do. So thanks again, as always, for watching. I'll probably be coming back with another video this week pretty soon. So again, thanks so much for watching, and I will see you all next time. Ciao.